All right, welcome to today's show here behind the veil. Today we're going to show you some pictures, a little short video on the Dead Sea crossing and some of the things that we have seen on the internet. People have discovered over there in the past few years. A lot of Christians don't even know this even exists. But today we're going to show you some pictures and let's see if you can be amazed like we were here at the channel when we first saw all these things. But first, let's go to Scripture. Scripture says, "For Pharaoh will say unto the children of Israel that they are entangled in the land, and the wilderness has shut them in." Well, we're going to show you here on Google Earth that here is the map of the Middle East. And, a lot of people believe that the Red Sea crossing, because this is the Red Sea, as you see right here, it says Red Sea. But I'm going to show you that there's a better case to be made for a little place called the Gulf of Acuba. And as you can see, we're starting to zero in on it. There's this place called Nuweiba Beach. And you see in the map here, you can see that there's trails through these mountains and stuff that lead down to this beach. See them a little bit better there. All right, what we believe here at the channel and what some people have proven that this is where the children of Israel were at, getting ready to cross the sea, and that sea, like I said, is the Gulf of Aqaba, or what we call today. And then on this beach was about 3 million children of Israel, right here on this beach. And the pillars of fire would have probably been right in this area, keeping Pharaoh from getting down there, because it says they were intertwined they entangled into the wilderness. And as you can see, there was no way out, up or down, north or south, out of this little route that they had through here. And they knew that they had them trapped, and they knew that they had their backs to the sea. And you could see right here, they couldn't go to the north, closed off. They couldn't go to the south, closed off. They thought that they were trapped right here, and they didn't know what, the children of Israel were really probably going into a real panic mode here. But what's really nice and cool about this is there's a land bridge underneath the water right in this area. Okay? And all the way through here, there's this big drop off down. It goes way down, down, down. I don't know how many hundreds of feet. Same thing on this side. But there's a land bridge that goes across here. And I'll see if I can pull it up here. Here's the land bridge right here. This is what it looks like at the Gulf of Aqaba at Nuweiba Beach. It would have poured out so they could have walked across this. If the waters would have rescinded and dropped, they would have had a way out. Notice they couldn't go north and they couldn't go south even there. They had to cross over. So this is where some interesting things were discovered. And they were discovered by this guy right here. This guy is Ron Wyatt. Ron is a guy that's been involved in a lot of biblical findings. He believed he found the Noah's Ark. There's videos on YouTube. It shows what Ron Wyatt found up there. And here, very specifically, this is another place. Although he wasn't the first one to discover it, because at this beach, they have these. These pillars were put up by Solomon himself, and even noted in Paleo Hebrew that this was where the crossing of the Dead Sea, crossing of the sea took place. Pretty interesting. What's really cool about it is, on the other side of the beach, they found over here on this side, they found another one that matched that pillar. So there's two pillars that dictated where this took place, and they were placed there by Solomon himself. Very, very cool. But what did they find in the water down here? Well, they found stuff like this, which was supposed to be chariot wheels that have been encrusted by coral. So here is your chariot wheel and the axle system that they have. This would have all been attached with coral over time. to preserve that shape of it, if you will. So to go back, let's see what we got here. Right here, we have a supposed axle and wheel of one of the chariots, but it's all encrusted in coral. Anything else they find there, you might ask? Why, they sure did. They found other things. Let's see, here's some more pictures of this coral. All this. But this picture here is pretty interesting. This one we're going to look at a little bit more closer here. Let's see if I had a picture of that to where we could break it up. This is a wheel that was either silver or gold that, have you noticed, does not have any coral attached to it, and it's 4 spokes. What makes this interesting is this would have been what Pharaoh's chariot would have been made of, and it would have been 4 spokes. Everybody else's chariots would have been like as I showed you here, but for that time being, for that particular thing, that right there would have been Pharaoh's. I know there's popular belief that they want to think that Yul Brynner made it back home, but according to the Bible, Pharaoh didn't make it back home. Pharaoh died in the water there too. Interesting note that they believe that might have been a King Tut's dad, and King Tut was actually who died at a young age, which would have fell right into the biblical story, being the firstborn of this Pharaoh. He was buried in that tomb that was suggested for this Pharaoh because he never made it back. There was no body. This guy died in the water trying to go after the children of Israel. So when we go back to the this map over here, it is believed that Mount Sinai is down in this area here. And that's where the children of Israel would have went into the land of Midian, and they would have convened there. Now you say, well, pork chop, do you got pictures of that? Well, of course I do. They took pictures of everything to prove that this was, in existence. So let's see here if I can find. This is what they believe to be Mount Sinai. It's darkened on the top, because fire would have came down on this on the day they received the law when they got to Mount Sinai. And this is where, the fire would have came down and they were hearing the 10 Commandments and all that took place that day at this mountain. All right. Also noteworthy in that area is the Rock of Horeb. This here is believed to be the Rock of Horeb, split down the middle. It's about 4 stories tall. You can see how big these people are here. Look at the size of these people. Look at the size of this rock. And there's water channels coming out of both sides of the rock where water was pouring out, just like the biblical story says. On the other side, same thing, water poured out. This area only gets an inch of rain in 10 years. So it gets about 1/10 of an inch every year. Water was pouring out of this thing like crazy to help, give water to the children of Israel. And this is what is believed to be the Rock of Horeb. Also at the base there, they found 12 round stones, all about the same height, probably about a foot or maybe a cubit, whatever height, where the leaders of each one of the tribes would have sit for the 12 tribes of Israel. A lot of interesting stuff in that. There was a lot of belief that there was corrals and stuff but one of the cool things that they had there is this. Look at that. That is believed, my friends, to be the altar that the golden calf sat on. There is calves drawn into the rocks here. I wish I had had a picture of one, but you can look online. They're there. And this would have been the place where they established the golden calf. And Aaron made that golden calf for him because Moses had been gone for 40 days. They didn't know what happened to him, and they needed something. So, the story goes, and we're at that time of the season. I believe that will be my next video, maybe tonight. We're going to do a video on how we've incorporated paganism into our belief with God, and God did not want that. And this here is the place it would have took place. it said that, they needed something, so they went to Aaron, the next best thing, and Aaron said it was make you a golden calf. They made the golden calf, and he said, "And tomorrow we will have a feast unto capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D." And they were going to incorporate this golden calf, the stuff that they learned out of Egypt. They were going to incorporate it with Jehovah, with God Himself. So they basically were going to say that that golden calf was Jehovah, and they were going to rise up and have a feast the next day in honor of that. Now, of course, the Bible tells you, and I think it's believed it's in Exodus 33, that when they did this, all of a sudden we're back up on the mountain, and God is speaking to Moses, and He said, "Get yourself down, for your people, not my people, have corrupted themselves." He says, "The ones you brought out of Egypt, not the ones I brought out of Egypt, but the ones you brought out of Egypt." So this is where this would have probably had taken place, right here on this rock. That's probably where it perched at. And like I said, down there, if a person was allowed to go here, you would see that there would be pictures of calves, like, bulls and stuff. And then you also had like where people had painted around their sandals all over the place. God told them that wherever your feet tread, that's going to be your land. And there's a whole bunch of that done around there where they've painted around their sandals in these. And I probably should have brought those pictures on here, but it is what it is. We are trying to throw this thing together last second. So pretty much that's about it. Know that there was a land bridge at Nueva. Know that that's the beach they would have been entrapped on, stuck, but God had a way for them to get out. You have all this under the water, found there still today. And we had the altar, and I showed you pictures of all that stuff. This to me is this is so interesting because, guys, this is showing that the story of Exodus is real. And no matter what they want to believe, that a lot of people want to believe that what Constantine's mommy said was that Sinai's here and they crossed here, but that's not the case. As a matter of fact, the belief is they came out from up here and then came down, and then were trying to make their way over here to where Moses was, where God talked to him in the burning bush and everything. It would have took place right down in this area. They crossed over. That's where they're going to receive the law, and then we know what they did. They were now, trying to make their way up to Israel, but obviously they found out that there was giants in there, and the false reports came back, and they had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years. So that's it in a nutshell. That's what we wanted to show today. I am so glad you guys got to join us and see this physical view of the actual crossing of the Red Sea. It is real. There's the beach once again. There's the entangling of the wilderness. There was a pillar from Solomon here. There's a pillar from Solomon on this side. And we know there's a land bridge that goes straight across there. The Bible's real. It is not. It's not fantasy. It is actually a history book on a lot of things that actually really took place, guys. And this is one of them. Hey, thanks for joining the show. We're going to end this little podcast. This was a short and sweet one, and we're going to try to come back with another one on the holidays, and we'll see how well received that's going to be. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and again, we're going to catch you guys all on the flip side. Thanks for joining us.